We'll begin in the High Court in Pretoria, where former President Edgar Lungu's family is set to appear today. They're mounting a challenge against a full bench ruling that allowed the Zambian government to repatriate his body for a state funeral. Watching the story is our senior reporter, Canny Maphanga, who joins us now live from inside court. And Canny, you'll forgive anybody who's struggling to keep up, given how many times we've been there. Help us understand at which stage of the litigation we're at and how many more options Edgar Lungu's family actually still has.
We're now at the 3-month dispute over the remains of the former Zambian President Edgar Lungu, which is now returning back to the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria, which made that finding in the main that there was an enforceable agreement, binding agreement between the parties, and that the Zambian government was entitled to repatriate those remains for the purposes of a state funeral and a burial. Now, what brings us back rather to the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria is that you do remember that the family did turn to the Constitutional Court for direct appeal. However, to jump the various courts within our structure of the judiciary and go straight to the Constitutional Court under direct appeal, you need to demonstrate that there are exceptional circumstances and that it is in the public interest for that matter to be heard by the Apex Court. The applicants failed to do that, and of course they were refused that direct appeal bid by the Constitutional Court. Now, because of that, they've turned back to the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria for their leave to appeal to the SCA, that particular full bench judgment that entitles the Zambian government to repatriate the remains of the former president for the purposes of a state funeral and burial. Now, the appeals process can be quite lengthy, Ayanda. If they are not successful in their leave to appeal bid here in the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria, of course, they can still try and petition the SCA, and if they're not successful there, they can actually go back to the Constitutional Courts to try and appeal that finding, if that is the case in the SCA as well. So it's still quite a few more steps before this issue can be resolved in the particular courts, but we do understand that on Friday there was a joint statement between the two parties stating that those formal negotiations or discussions between the Lungu family and the Zambian government had begun between the parties. So we now have two processes running concurrently. There is the legal appeal process and then of course the formal discussions. If the latter is successful, then you can expect that this will bring the court bid to an end. However, if they fail to find each other in formal discussions, then you can expect that this matter will still be in the courts for quite some time. And it has been 3 months since the former president passed away, and he's yet to be laid to rest as the various parties, interested parties in this matter, seek to resolve whether he should be buried in his homeland or here in South Africa. We expect for that hearing to begin at 9:30 a.m. this morning, and of course the Lungu family have changed their counsel. They've now brought on Advocate Tembeka Toby, senior counsel, to assist them in this bid to fight for the final resting place of their loved one.